I had gone through an experience where I had, I guess we used to call it a nervous breakdown. I don't know what the term is, but it wasn't that long ago. And it was serious. I was in the hospital, and I had to really do a complete reassessment of what my priorities were. What did I value? What was I working for? What was I working towards? What were my relationships? And through the process of therapy, going through that, that was a significant letdown for me. I had to go back and into my own, personal situation of dealing with the loss of my parents, which happened very suddenly. And I think one of the things that we tend to do when we get caught up in our professional lives is we kind of create these compartments. And I had a compartment for when my father died. He died, he was gone in 6 weeks, went from the diagnosis, and my mom died suddenly. And in both cases, I flew back home to Cape Breton, and it didn't take a lot of time to process. I was back at work in very short order. And when I had my nervous breakdown, which was a few years later, I think I realized at that time that I hadn't really processed fully that grieving that I had gone through. And that grieving is the relationships that you had, maybe some of the regrets that you had around those relationships. And it was a very important part of my getting better, was giving myself the license to be sad, the license to be angry, the license to feel even a little bit selfish, as I was fighting that through the process of feeling that I was blaming somebody for how I was feeling, even though I knew that that person was doing the very best that they could at the time. I still had to live it and honor those feelings and not feel bad about it. The context happens later, but I didn't really process that time. And I think it's really important. People mourn and grieve at their own pace, in their own way, in their own time. But I think it's completely acceptable to be floored months, years, days later. Just have a moment where you're experiencing something that just brings you right back down to your adolescent self, where we get hurt. And that's part of the process of healing. We go back in time, we look at things and re-examine things, and then we can create a context and we have something to go forward. But sometimes it takes our foundations to get shaken before we really take the time to look at what we've built, our coping mechanisms, our structures. Sometimes those structures and coping mechanisms are driving you and are informing you and helping you be the person that you want to be. Sometimes those drivers can be counterproductive. They can be self-destructive. I think grieving, the process of losing someone, forces you to come to terms with some of those relationships, and you dig deep. It's important to get help if you're feeling that you can't process it. For me, a combination of therapy, a combination of just going through the artistic pursuit of writing the songs and performing the songs and doing honor and justice to what I was experiencing. It honored me, it honored the people that I lost. And it was very central to me getting well and having a perspective that was going to benefit me as I move forward into the sort of the last third of my life.